Welcome back to the Business Book Club. Today, we're diving into a really influential book, Playing to Win, How Strategy Really Works. It's by A.G. Lafley and Roger L. Martin.
That's right. Lafley, he was the CEO at Procter & Gamble. Huge impact there.
Huge is right. Was it sales doubled, profits quadrupled?
Yeah, and market value went up by, I think, over $100 billion. Plus, they grew their big billion-dollar brands, the household names we all recognize, from about 10 to more than 20. Pretty impressive stuff.
Definitely. And then you have Roger Martin, who's just, well, one of the top names in business thinking globally. So the two of them together is a powerful combination.
It really is. And you see that reflected in who praises the book. Jack Welch from GE, the folks at Lego, Boeing. They all saw how practical and applicable it is for real leaders, for marketers.
So it's not just theory then. It's about actionable strategy.
Exactly. What Playing to Win does so well is it cuts through the noise. It brings strategy down to some core choices any business has to grapple with.
Okay, so that's what we're going to tackle in this deep dive. We want to unpack that core argument for you, the listener, give you the key concepts so you can think about them for your own work.
Right. And the absolute core, the central idea is that strategy really comes down to answering two fundamental and linked questions.
Okay, let's get right to it then. What are those two big questions?
So the first one sounds simple, but it's deep. Where will you play?
Where will you play? Okay.
And this isn't just, what industry. It's about specifics. Which markets, which customer segments, which geographies, channels. It's about defining your battlefield, really. Setting boundaries.
Got it. So defining the arena. What's the second question?
The second is, how will you win in those chosen playing fields?
How will you win, not just compete?
Precisely. It's not enough to just be there. You need a clear plan for how you're going to get customers to choose you. What's your competitive advantage within that space you defined?
And the book stresses that these two, where to play and how to win, they're not separate decisions, right? They have to connect.
Absolutely connected. They have to reinforce each other. That's where the power is. Your where to play choice has to give you a real chance to use your how to win advantage.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. Your how to win has to actually work in the markets you've picked. They need to fit together tightly.
Can you maybe give us a quick example, something to make that interdependence really click?
Sure. Think about a small online shop. Maybe they decide their where to play is, say, sustainable baby clothes, a niche.
Okay.
Their how to win might be like amazing customer service plus a really carefully selected range of eco-friendly products. That niche where to play lets their unique service and product focus their how to win, really shine and build loyalty.
Right. If they just tried to sell general baby clothes everywhere online.
Exactly. Competing against the big guys, their specific how to win wouldn't stand out. Much harder to succeed.
Makes perfect sense. Choose your battles and make sure you have the right weapons for those battles. So the book gives a framework for this.
Yes, exactly. It's called the Strategic Choice Cascade. It's a way to think about strategy not as one big decision, but a series of 5 linked questions. They flow logically.
Okay, walk us through the cascade. What are the 5 questions?
It starts at the top with, what is your winning aspiration? This is the big picture. Your purpose, your ambition. What does winning ultimately look like for you?
The North Star, essentially. What's next?
Then comes, where will you play? Which we just talked about, the specifics of your arena.
Right.
Then, how will you win? Your competitive advantage in that chosen space.
Okay, aspiration, where, how. Getting more concrete, the last 2.
Fourth is, what capabilities must be in place to win? This really forces you to think about what you need to be good at. What are the essential skills, resources, activities to make your how to win actually happen?
Critical strengths.
And the final piece, the fifth question, and sometimes people forget this one, is what management systems are needed? This covers, the structure, the processes, how you measure success, the incentives, all the things that support the strategy and keep it on track.
That feels really comprehensive. It links the big vision right down to the operational nuts and bolts. And the book mentions this isn't always just one top-down thing in big companies.
Correct. In larger, more complex organizations, you often find these cascades are nested. Like the overall corporate strategy informs the strategy for a business unit, which then shapes the strategy for a specific brand within that unit.
And they all have to align.
They have to align. The choices at each level need to support the choices above and below. It has to be coherent.
There's an example in the book, isn't there? Something about a yoga apparel company. How does that illustrate nesting?
Right, the yoga apparel example. So imagine the company's top-level aspiration is, say, empowering mindful movement. At the company level, where to play might be North America, using their own stores and online. How to win could be through premium, sustainable fabrics and building a strong community.
Got it.
Now, zoom down to one specific store in, say, Chicago. It's where to play is the local Chicago community. It's how to win might involve hosting local workshops, partnering with nearby yoga studios. The corporate capabilities, like sourcing sustainable materials, directly help that local store win in its specific market. See how it cascades?
Yeah, that clarifies it really well. The choices connect across levels.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pivot to one of the big case studies from the book, the Olay turnaround. How does that show the where-to-play choice in action?
Oh, the Oil of Olay story is classic. It's a brilliant example of making a smart where-to-play shift. Back in the late 90s, Olay was, well, it felt a bit dated, losing ground.
Right, kind of your grandmother's brand, maybe?
Something like that, yeah.
Right.
And new competitors were coming in, so P&G had some choices to make.
Well, what were they considering? What were the options on the table?
Well, they could have just tried to, defend the existing brand, keep the loyal users happy, or maybe buy a younger, hipper skincare brand, or even try to stretch another P&G brand into that space.
But they didn't do any of those.
No. They decided the best bet was to fundamentally rethink and reposition Olay itself.
And that led to the crucial where-to-play decision.
Yes. They carved out a new space. They called it Mastige, basically positioned above the typical drugstore brands, but below the really expensive department store stuff.
So, mass market price point, but prestige feel.
Kind of. Mass distribution drugstores, supermarkets, but with a more premium image and effectiveness. They also specifically targeted women starting to think about anti-aging, but maybe not ready for those super high-end price tags, a new entry point.
Bridging mass and prestige.
Yeah.
And this played to P&G's strengths, didn't it?
Absolutely. P&G dominated mass channels. They knew how to operate there. Trying to suddenly fight in high-end department stores, much tougher, less familiar territory. Mastige let them use their existing distribution muscle, but offer something elevated.
Okay, so that was the where to play. How do they then execute the how to win in this new prestige zone? It couldn't just be about finding a price gap.
No, definitely not. The how to win was key. A big part was product innovation. They invested R&D into better formulas like their Vitaniacin complex that tackled more signs of aging and actually delivered results people could see.
So the product had to back up the promise. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But how did they change the perception? How did they convince mass shoppers Olay was now more premium?
That took a very deliberate marketing shift. They started advertising Olay in Vogue and other high-end magazines on the same TV shows as the expensive brands, creating that association.
Borrowing prestige cues.
Exactly. And they brought in dermatologists, used external experts to talk about the science. Plus, and this was clever, they used independent tests showing Olay performed as well as, or even better than, some much pricier department store creams.
Providing tangible proof. Wow. Okay, that's a great illustration. Now, stepping back again, P&G is a whole corporation. How did they define their broader where to play?
At that top corporate level, P&G's strategy was about focusing where they had a right to win. Big consumer categories, often where they were already strong. Think home care, beauty, health, personal care.
Pulling from their core strengths.
Right. And focusing on the most attractive geographic markets, the key retail channels where they excelled, and their core consumer segments. It was about concentrating their firepower.
And how did that translate into their overall how to win? What were P&G's big advantages?
Their how to win leveraged several core strengths. First, that deep consumer understanding we mentioned. Second, their ability to build powerful, distinct brands backed by innovation. Third, their incredible global scale for efficiency and reach. And fourth, their strong partnerships with retailers.
The book points to 5 specific core capabilities behind this, doesn't it?
It does. Lafley and Martin identify consumer understanding, brand building, innovation, go-to-market execution, sales distribution, and global scale. And crucially, they stress it's the combination of these working together that creates the real sustainable advantage. One capability alone isn't usually enough.
The whole system reinforcing itself. Got it. Now, strategy isn't always about success. The book uses GM's Saturn brand as a counterpoint, right? A failure to play to win.
Yeah, the Saturn story is cautionary. It really drives home the difference between just being in a market playing to play, and having a real ambition and strategy to win there.
So what was the issue with Saturn? The cars weren't bad initially, were they?
No, the cars were okay, and they built some customer loyalty early on. But GM launched Saturn mainly defensively to counter Japanese small cars. The core aspiration wasn't really to dominate that segment, to be the undisputed leader. It was more about, well, being present.
Whereas Toyota and Honda,
They came in playing to win. They made the hard choices, the sustained investments in better products, more efficient manufacturing, stronger brands needed to achieve leadership. GM with Saturn just didn't commit in the same way over the long haul.
so even with a decent product, without that winning aspiration and the strategy to back it up,
It eventually faltered. It underscores that you need that clear goal to win and then align everything behind it. Just showing up isn't a strategy.
a really critical distinction. Now, Lafley and Martin argue there are fundamentally only two ways to actually achieve that sustainable win. What are they?
Yeah, they boil it down to two basic paths for creating a lasting competitive edge. You either win through low cost or you win through differentiation.
Okay, let's unpack those. Low cost first. What does that entail?
A low-cost strategy means aiming to have the lowest cost structure in your industry. Simple as that. This lets you do one of two things. Either charge lower prices than competitors to grab market share, or charge similar prices but enjoy higher margins which you can reinvest.
Any examples they give?
They mention companies like early Dell Computer with its direct model, or Mars Candy Bars focusing on efficiency.
Okay, so relentless focus on cost. What about the other path? Differentiation.
Differentiation is about making your product or service seem unique and more valuable to customers than the alternatives, something special that they're willing to pay more for.
And that something special could be anything.
It could be quality, features, design, customer service, branding, a unique channel. Anything that creates that perception of distinct value.
The book mentions it's hard to do both low cost and differentiation well at the same time long term. Why is that?
Well, think about it. Driving costs down usually means standardization, efficiency, maybe cutting some frills. Differentiation often means investing more in things like R&D, branding, service things that can add cost.
They pull in opposite directions.
Often, yeah. Trying to be the cheapest and the most unique is incredibly difficult. You risk getting stuck in the middle, not really excelling at either. While some companies might manage it for a bit, the book argues it's rarely a sustainable, long-term winning strategy. You generally have to choose your primary path.
This has been fascinating, really digging into the core ideas of playing to win. As we start to wrap up, what are the main actionable lessons our listeners, especially entrepreneurs or leaders, should take away from this?
Okay, number one, absolutely nail your where to play and how to win. Get super specific. Where exactly will you compete? And what will make you uniquely successful there? Don't be vague.
Clarity and focus. Got it. What else?
Make sure those choices link up. The whole strategic choice cascade, aspiration, where, how, capabilities, systems, it all needs to fit together and reinforce itself. No contradictions.
Integration is key, and building on strengths.
Yes. Know what your core capabilities are or what they need to be. Invest in those things that are truly essential to your how to win and that are hard for others to copy. Those are your crown jewels.
And learn from experience.
Definitely. Look at successes like Olay and failures like Saturn Your Own and others. Strategy isn't static. You need to learn and adapt constantly.
What about that mindset point?
Always ask, are we really playing to win here or just playing to play? That honest assessment is crucial. It drives commitment.
Right. And finally, the fundamental choice.
Yeah, be clear about your fundamental path. Is it low cost or is it differentiation? Make that choice explicitly and then align everything, resources, activities, culture behind that choice. Don't try to be all things to all people.
Really powerful takeaways.
Yeah.
If listeners want to go deeper, explore the examples more fully.
Then I'd absolutely say grab the book, Playing to Win, How Strategy Really Works. It lays out the framework in detail with lots more real-world stories. It really can sharpen how you think about strategy.
So a strong recommendation. And for everyone listening, maybe take a moment after this to think about your own business, your own venture. Where are you choosing to play, and how specifically are you planning to win?
Great questions to ponder. Getting those answers right, really drilling down, that's the heart of building a winning strategy.
Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. If you found this valuable, please do subscribe to the Business Book Club for more discussions like this.
Until next time, keep thinking strategically.
And always aim to play to win. Now, that's a wrap for this episode of the Business Book Club. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Got a favorite business book you'd love us to explore? Let us know. We're always up for a good read. And hey, don't keep all these insights to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow book lover or your work buddy who's always looking to level up. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.